decided that we were going to do the show again, so I just kind of started coming up with some different thoughts and ideas, doing some sketches and things where I kind of come up with typically, which is a two-dimensional view, what I would call the dominant or the most visual part of it, and that would be this front view of this. As with anything with studio furniture makers, we're collectors of wood. So quite often the wood actually inspires the piece. But just to kind of do some due diligence, I went through all of my woods and spent some time with them. I really came back to my original thoughts on the koa. Being a really rare wood in a hard source, I think it's important for me to use it in a veneer form. So what I do is I'll take my boards. I have a resaw bandsaw where I'm able to slice off. I do it about 95 thousandths of an inch thick. And then as I surface them through my sander, I finish them at about 65, 70 thousandths of an inch thick. So I get the ability to book match, and that's how I got, you can see this would be 4 boards, or 4 slices of veneer all the way here. So in veneering, I use a core. I use Baltic birch plywood. In this case, I used 1/8 inch thick Baltic birch plywood. It allows me to build layers to get the thickness that I want before veneer, but it's also allowed me to take that core and bend it and curve it over a form to achieve this curve that I had. And after that, for me, most every piece I make ends up having a curve, what I would call a natural curve or an elliptical curve. This curve here, the curve that goes across the front of everything, the doors, the shelves there, even the inside shelves, both sides there. So after I've built up those cores and achieved these shapes and things here, then I've got to put a solid edging. I chose walnut. I really liked just a little contrast, and I think it created this really nice like grounding and framing effect of the really exciting koa. The walnut is that more grounded, solid look, and I think it really came out nice, and I really enjoyed it. But then putting the walnut on, a couple things happen to you by splitting it and putting it back the same way, so that you really don't see, you can't tell at all that it's in 2 pieces. So then once I've gotten all that, I have to do some doweling to prep it together. I don't put glue in the dowels first, but it allows me to assemble this piece. It'll hold it really tightly in position, and then that way it allows me to be able to fit the doors. I want to achieve as consistent of a bead around there as possible, but yet I still need to fit the piece a little bit in the door. So there's some other things that I got going on in these doors. Once I get them set and in place and I've got it doweled, I use a Brusso knife hinge. Some of the other more just details that are a little harder to see, but we start looking for them. I have what's called a leveler button or pin. The door comes closed, it rides right up on that pin. Its counterpart is a spring. It's just a little wood detail that actually has spring tension in it, so that the door is just pushed shut and it holds it in place. And then the pole, a little finger knob. So it's just kind of a little tactile piece of hardware that's just really nice when you go to open up that door. I've made these shelves removable for really nice little walnut pins that they sit on in there, and they're notched in, so when they go in there, you set, you don't actually see it, but it also keeps the shelf from moving around. And it comes time to glue this whole thing together. I've got 7 or 8 dowels in each one of these joints, top, bottom, all the way around. I've already pre-squared my back so that my cabinet goes completely straight and back to where it was when I did all my fitting before. I have parallel clamps that go all the way across this joint, top, bottom, and then I brought one in the center of these ends. So then in the finish, I chose to do an oil. It's 3 coats, and it really hardens well. I came over the top of that with a coat of paste wax, just to really, and just kind of give it a really uniform, really smooth. It's really nice to the touch. I'm really happy that it worked out wonderfully. The name for this piece is Rare Birds on a Wire. Something about it, I felt with these 2 sapwood diamonds or hearts in the middle, that it felt like with this line here and this, those are wires, and they're just two birds that were gracefully balanced on a wire, and that just the inspiration for the name.